Welcome back to this digital Python course, computer programmers. Today's lesson will be about numeric data types, calculations, string concatenation, and multiline strings. So let's start off with numeric data types. So Python has a few numeric data types and it has multiple ways of storing numbers. And the one you use depends on your intended purpose for the number you are saving. Uh, One example is the integer or int, and this is basically a whole number, and it has no decimal point, and it contains only all counting numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the number 0, and all their negative counterparts like -1, -100, -1,000,000, all of that. And the next one we have is a floating point number or a float, and this is a decimal number, and it can be used to represent fractional quantities and as well as precise measurements. And here, let me give you an example of an integer and floating point. So this is integer, and a floating point would be like a decimal like this. So let's print out the results. So let's see, when print out an integer, let's print out integer 100. We print it, there, it prints out this is a whole number, no fraction quantity, it's one whole number. Same thing would go for a -100. And yeah, and if we put 0, it'd be the same thing. Now let's say we want to make this a fraction. We can put 0.3. So this decimal determinant tells us Python that this is now a float, and it is it's a fractional quantity now. So if we run this, it gives us -100.3. And yeah, and another cool thing we can do in Python is perform calculations. And Python can perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and something we'll talk about in a little bit, modulo. So first, let me show you addition. So let's say let's type the print command so we can show it in our console. Let's say we want to add two numbers, and we can do that like by using the plus sign. So we do 3 plus 3, and we want to print this out. It's going to give us 6. Yeah, there, 6. Now let's say we want to subtract 3 minus 3. The result should be 0. Let's see if it works. Yep, Python got it. It's 0. All right. Now let's say we want to multiply 3 times 3. This should be 9. And yep, 9. The console shows us that 3 times 3 is 9. Same thing goes for division. 3 divided by 3 should be 1. And yeah, 1. So the important thing to note is that plus is for addition, and the asterisk is for multiplication. This is the slash sign is for division, and the dash is for subtraction. And another thing is that division can be tricky in Python sometimes because they can throw a special error called a zero division error. And it'll raise this error when you're trying to attempt to divide a number by 0. So let's say we want to divide 100 divided by 0. In this case, you'd think, hey, isn't that undefined because you can't divide 100 by 0? That's correct. So if you run a program, your Python will show you zero division error, and then you'll be like wondering, why did this give this? It says print 100 divided by 0, division by 0, and you can go back to your program and find out where that error is occurring out there. 100 divided by 0, that cannot be possible, it's undefined. And however, later we'll talk about how you can give exceptions to errors and all of that. And anyways, that's for later video. Another thing you should note is that the variables are assigned numeric values can be treated the same as the numbers themselves, and two variables can be added together, divided by each other, multiplied, subtracted, and basically Python doesn't distinguish them between variables and literals. So let me show you. For example, let's say we have number 1 is equal to 10 and number 2 is equal to 100. And let's say you want to find the total of these numbers by adding them together. We can do number 1 plus number 2. So we run this, it should give us 110. Oh, forgot to print it out. So print total. And it prints 110 in the console. And this is useful, let's say if you want to constantly be using these values throughout the program, like you want to constantly use number one in not just one calculation but multiple, so you don't have to constantly be repeating when you have larger numbers and larger values. All right. Further, more. In order to, you might be wondering how we use exponents in Python. And in this case, to use exponents in Python, you can use the double asterisk notation. So if you want to have, let's say, 3 cubed, you write 3 double asterisk cubed. 3 times 3 times 3. So let's say we want to try this out. Let's test this. So we want to do 2 squared. We know that. Very simple. My bad. It's 2 times 2, which is 4. Yep. But let's say we want to go more complex. Now this is useful for bigger numbers. Let's say 2 to the power of 9. Now that should give us 512. Yeah, so this is how you would do exponents in Python. All right, next is that so we'll talk about string, not that one yet, modular operator. So the Python offers a companion to the division operator called the modular operator, and the modular operator is indicated by a percent sign, and it gives the remainder of a division calculation. So if the number is divisible, then the result of the modular operator will be 0. Otherwise, it will give you a remainder of some number. So for example, let's say we want to find the remainder between when we divide 5 and 2. So when we divide 5 and 2, we should get 2.5. But let's say we would just want the remainder. So we do 5 modulo 2. 5 modulo 2, it should give us 1. Because 2 times 2 is 4, 5 minus 4 is 1. Yep. And now let's talk about string concatenation. So the plus operator doesn't just add two numbers, it can also add strings. And the process of combining strings is called string concatenation. And performing string concatenation creates a brand new string comprised of the first string's contents followed by the second string's content. For example, let's say we have a greeting, and let's say this we have this as a string equal to hello, and then we can have another string, let's say question is equal to let's say they're asking how are you. And now let's see if we want to combine these together, so we can say maybe full text is equal to um, greeting plus question. Now if we run this program, it should give us these thing. Oh, again, print. Always print. You won't, otherwise you cannot be fully sure of what you're seeing. It's better to check than take any risk. So I'll print it out. It says, hello, how are you? And remember, you'll have to personally add spaces. It doesn't add it for you. So we go here. Let's say hello. Let's run it again. And there. There's a space now in between, correct grammar. So yeah, you can add strings together in Python. But however, if you want to concatenate a string with a number, you will need to make a number a string first using the str function. So let me show you. So let's say we have an integer called age, and let's say that age is equal to 100. And we have, let's say, somebody saying that they are whatever age. And say, let's call this my age is equal to I am, or maybe better be my age. Oh, I hate this keyboard. My age is, and I should, let's say we want to combine this now. So total text is equal to my age plus 100. Actually, to make it simpler, let's just use the print. So my age plus 100, in this case 100 is age, and my age plus 100. We're going to run this. It'll give us an error because you can only concatenate str, not int to str. So fix that. We type str bracket, put a bracket around the variable age, and now let's run it. It should tell us my age is 100. And I'm not, just by the way, I'm not actually 100 years old. I wouldn't be doing this if I was 100. And all right, now let's talk about a shorthand for updating variables. So when you have a number saved in a variable and you want to add to the current value of the variable, you can use the plus equals operator, plus equal. And Python, let me, for example, let's say we have a number is equal to 10. And let's say, oh, maybe we want to increase it by 2. Instead of having to write number is equal to number plus 2, you can just simply write number plus equal 2. In this case, when we run it, it's going to add 2 to 10. First, print it out. Let's print it out just so we can check our result. So run my file. Number is equal to 12. 10 plus 2 is 12. And we can do the same thing with strings. And Python strings are very flexible, but if we try to create a string, it can sometimes cause errors if you're not careful of using str, like when you have integers. But let me first show you. So if we can do the same thing with strings, so we have a string called, let's use the same example, hello equals hello there. And now let's say we want to add something to hello. We can say hello plus equals hi, hello there, I am happy. Let's put the space for grammar. Run my file and always remember, print it. Print hello. Run my file. Hello there, I am happy. See, a much faster way of adding a specific text to a string. And yeah. Alright, now let's talk about how we can, let's say if we have a string that occupies multiple lines and we come to face with a syntax error. And Python offers a solution for this called multi-line strings, and we can use the 3 quotation mark. This one. Oops. Yep. So it's 3. I don't know why it's doing that. I think, yeah, okay, that makes sense why it's doing that. And instead of using 1, and we can tell the program that the string doesn't end until the next triple quote. And this method is useful if the string being defined contains a lot of quotation marks and we want to be sure we don't close it prematurely. So let's say we have somebody wrote a poem. Let me call this my poem is equal to and okay, so in PyCharm it automatically makes you this portion. So you can just press enter when you come here, and there you have you can put your text here. And let's say we want to write roses are red and violets are blue. I don't know, that's all I remember. This is just an example. I am happy, very happy. This is not really a poem, this is just random text. So let's just call it my text. I don't know. And there, so you can see we have 2 lines here. And normally with a if you don't have these, it'd give you an error. So let's run my file. Yeah, no error. And we can, yeah, basically, we can print this out as well. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and be sure to check out upcoming videos that I have posted or videos that I have previously posted. And yeah, please subscribe and like my videos because I do these for really free because I want to educate the public about what I have learned, and at the same time I am learning. So yeah, please subscribe to show your support. And yeah, thanks for listening. I'm gonna stop recording.